Hello and welcome everyone. I'm just gonna sound check real quick. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Yes, we can. Nice. Okay, so has been a while since I've been doing a live stream. This is mostly due to the fact that I've been to the Malta conference. We have been working very, very hard on TradeDeck. Corpus is right over there, working on TradeDeck as we speak. And basically, we've just been very busy. So I'm excited to finally talk to you guys again. Hope you guys are all doing well. And without further ado, let's get to it because we have a lot to discuss. Just pull up the Bitcoin chart. Um, I hope you guys can see this. It should be all right. And the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the big descending triangle that I have been showcasing for like several months now. And we finally broke out, or at least it looks like we finally broke out. So that's definitely good news. Took a while for Bitcoin to take any action at all. It's kind of flatlined for a week or three, but that being said, things are looking semi bullish again. So I'm excited for one. Hope you're well, but remember when you're excited, you should have a tight stop loss. So we've got a couple of things going on here. First of all is this break right here. We actually made the break 15th of October, so that's almost a month ago now. Pretty much nothing happened right after that until we got this retest. And the retest happened on 29th of October. Was just a small drop, but it was enough to, for me, consider this a proper retest, after which we started to move up slowly. Now, if we go to the 4 days, or 4 hours, I should say, excuse me, to the 4 hourly chart, you can see that we finally managed to break this resistance right here. It's a small one, hasn't been into play for very long. Nonetheless, it has kept us down ever since 16th of October. And it is good to see that this resistance finally gave way. Um, what I expect to happen now is another retest. So hopefully that will bring Bitcoin down to 6,460 US dollars, after which we might potentially continue our journey upwards. Now, obviously, the first target I'm looking at is the 236 Fibonacci level, currently situated at 7,140 USD. Although, honestly, given the fact that I've seen this happen before during the last bear markets, when Bitcoin broke out, I gave a quite violent bullish reaction. That being said, that wasn't the end of the bear market. After it broke out, it basically 2x'd, so we gained 100% on the price. After which it just continued to bear market. So even though I'm pretty optimistic here, I don't see any reason why this run couldn't continue. I would like to advise to be very, very careful to keep tight stop losses and to make sure that you don't get caught in any kind of fake out. And the best way to do this is to grab our long tool, pop it down. Obviously, I went long like a little bit lower, but let's just pretend for now that we're looking for a position. We can set our targets at the desired level, which in this case, first target is going to be 7,140 USD. And we can set our stop just below the previous lows, which are currently situated at 6,076 US dollars. Obviously, this will only work if you're on low margin. If you're on high margin, it's going to be a little bit of a different story, but I'll come to that in a moment. My own personal target is sitting all the way up here at close in about 9,900 USD. Obviously, this is a bit of a longer term outlook. If you are on high margin, if you want to make some quick profits of this run, then I have the following setup. I'm actually using this setup myself as well. We take our resistance, which was formed here. Currently, I personally consider this a retest. Sorry, I just got a phone call. I consider this a retest. And right after this, there should be a very good chance that we're gonna continue our run upwards. Now, where would that take us on the shorter term? It's a good question. And in order to answer that, I need another Fibonacci retracement of this whole move right here, the final leg down. And up until now, there might be more legs down, but this is the last move we had. And that should give us a nice target at the 618 Fibonacci level of 6,900 USD. Now, this is a very good setup because, for me, I would consider this a retest. And if that's the case, then we can pop our long tool here. We can set our target at the desired level, which in this case is 6,900. And let me just move this over real quick. There we go. Grab this arrow. There we are. And we can set our stop just below the broken resistance as I consider it. Now, this should give us a risk reward ratio of 4.45, which is very, very good. This would be a very, very good setup. And I'm personally using this setup. I just got out of the trade in order to see if we can actually manage to stay above 6,480. And if we do, I will create a new long, which hopefully will take us to these levels, to 6,900 USD. Are there any questions so far? If not, I will continue. And I would like to do so on the Ethereum Bitcoin pair. And Ethereum Bitcoin pair on Bittrex. I like to use Bittrex not because this is like the greatest exchange or anything, not at all. But I like to use Bittrex because this has the most amount of historical data. In my previous live streams, I have marked this zone right here. It goes from 0.033 Bitcoin to 0.0338 Bitcoin as support. And we did manage to breach into this zone. That being said, I don't think Ethereum will reside here for much longer, considering that this pretty much is the final support. If we break below this zone right here, then I would become pretty, like, very bearish, so to say. That being said, things are looking good. Looks like Ethereum is joining in on the alt run, reversing quite nicely here. Hasn't really had any kind of violent move yet, sadly. But that being said, it's starting to look like this will this will just continue. For me, there's no real reason as to why we would breach this support right here. Now, this would give us a new target, and this target is, I wouldn't consider it very high, but I would consider it far-fetched so far. So if we pop our long tool right here, and we set our stop just below the previous low, because we shouldn't go below the previous low. And we set our target at resistance, which I've drawn out here. Very simple, but very effective. Then I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum just starts taking off from here and bring us into these levels of 0.07 Bitcoin, or one could say 7 million Satoshis. Now, this would give us a risk reward of 5.6, also a great risk reward ratio. Obviously, if we're wrong, and we're going to use our stop loss. But the reward in this case is very, very good, and I'm very excited about this setup. But as I always say, if you're very excited about something, make sure to use an even tighter stop loss. So that's what I'm doing here. And this should keep us busy for the next week or 2, 3, maybe even a little bit longer, depending on the if this move is going to have a violent breakout or not. Because another possibility I see is that we're going to accumulate here, and we're just going to stay into this accumulation zone where we have been a couple times already. And this could take a while. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but we could be here for a while if the market just decides to slow down and not do anything. Mm, mm, mm. So yeah, I do not have a short-term setup for Ethereum because we are still in the accumulation zone and there's no reason to start playing around here for me because first of all, it's not really worth it. The risk is too high, and second, I don't see any position here right now. So yeah, Ethereum paired against USD, kind of the same story. Just gonna pull it up here, show you around. Same accumulation zone that I've marked on Ethereum paired against Bitcoin. But for USD, this accumulation zone goes from 140 USD all the way up to 220 USD. Now, as you can see, we have entered the zone. Kind of seems like the price, like Ethereum is trying to leave the zone already. Hasn't succeeded so far. So I would still consider this, pretty good buy range in all honesty. And the big difference here on the USD pair is that we already have broken this big resistance. So if we're going to look for a target, probably the best way to do so is by Fibonacci retracement, which I will put down right now. There we go. And my personal preferred target would first of all be the 786, although I have to say it appears as though support, which is now turned resistance, is just below that level. So instead of going for the 786, we're just going to go for the general resistance, where the price has bounced several times and made some good reversals. This is a very well respected area. This is 380 USD. And that's where I would personally put my first target. Now, if we manage to breach this area, then, the sky's the limit. I wouldn't be surprised if we reach the 618 at 640 US dollars, but only if we manage to breach it. If we don't, then I would consider this a bounce and not a reversal. And, the bear market would just carry on doing its own thing. So all in all, things are looking pretty good. But also we have to be really, really careful because we have been in this massive bear market ever since January, and there have been times when things have been looking great, and then the market just did its thing, proved us all wrong, and we really have to be careful for that. So USD target 377. That's what I'm looking for, and that's what I will aim for in my trade. Obviously, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and that's why we have the stop loss in place. Now, first question, could you take a look at Digibyte? Obviously, that's no problem at all. I'll just pull up the chart. There we are. And I'm just going to pull the Fib retracement over here. There we are. As far as Digibyte goes, I really do like Digibyte, but here comes the but. We have just breached one of the largest supports on the chart. As you can see, this support level has been respected for, almost since the creation of Digibyte. Goes back all the way before this massive bull run, and it has always been very well respected until now. It appears as though we might be going down under. So for me, there is no reason to buy this other than FA reasons. Obviously, those are great, but I don't like to buy anything just for FA reasons because I'm a trader. I'm not really an investor. That's not what I do. So, in my personal and humble opinion, I wouldn't personally not buy this right now. It's very simple. That being said, this is crypto. so we might just pop back in real soon and we will have to reevaluate. KMD, kind of another story here. I actually posted a KMD chart not so long ago, and here's the deal, right? Like up until now, KMD has always respected this support right here, which is sitting at 28,000 satoshis. Let's keep it simple. And the one time it breached this support level, it was followed by a massive leg up, like insane. This took us upwards 400% in 2 weeks. And this time, we breached the support level. I'll just mark that in green for you. There we go. 27,457 satoshis. And really, there hasn't been any reaction at all from the bulls whatsoever. So, this indicates me that even though FA wise, this probably is one of the best projects around, the traders are not really interested in it at all right now. If we take the unbalanced volume as well, grab that, we can see that there's barely any change in the direction of things here. That there's no bullish market sentiment, there's no bearish market sentiment. There just seems to be like little to no interest. And this was very, very different before. So what I mean to say by this is that I am currently not very interested to trade this. I am interested in investing in KMD. I've got some KMD in my long-term portfolio, but there are no real solid supports left. One could mark this as a buy range, so that's what I did, and it's respecting this range. As soon as we break below, personally, I wouldn't be very happy about that, and I would probably get out of the trade. But for now, it seems to be accumulating nicely. The thing is, there's no reason to believe this will be finished soon. Might take a week, might take a year, or perhaps it will never take off again. So make sure to use your stops if you're trading this, and also make sure to have patience. Haven Protocol. This one is requested by Sergio. Can certainly do that for you. There we are. Okay, this works. Give me a second. Sometimes I need like a minute or so to find the proper patterns. But it seems we have found it. So remember, if you're looking for support or resistance, you always need to have 3 points of contact. If you have just 2 points of contact, it doesn't count, and it's no support, and it's also no resistance. Support is fine in this case. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4 points of contact. That being said, the resistance that I'm looking at only has 2 points of contact, and this might be forming an ascending triangle. Ascending triangles are bullish continuation patterns, resulting in a topside break like 70 or 80% of the time. That being said, it doesn't have to be that way. But if I would take a position here, I would personally wait for Haven to break topside, which would happen at approximately 40,000 satoshis, and then I would take a position and start looking for targets. And the best way to start looking for targets on this one is with a trend-based Fibonacci extension. You just take the bottom of the whole move, take the top, then you close it down at the bottom of the retracement. Good targets for trend-based Fibonacci extensions are usually the 786, which is currently residing at 56,000 Satoshis, or very simple, just the one, which is sitting at 63,000 Satoshis. All in all, I would personally say this is looking pretty good. The on-balance volume is definitely pointing upwards because even though, we've had this correction, as we can see, there have been very, very little sellers, which indicates to me that this might be a continuation. This is a good product. Haven't really researched it that well, but from the things I've seen, I really do like it. And we're just gonna have to go over to CoinMarketCap and check out the market cap for this one because I'm not quite sure what that is right now. Okay, so as you can see, the market cap is 13 million, which makes this a micro cap, and we're gonna have to go to markets and we're gonna have to do some volume, potential volume analysis. Like, if this thing starts taking off, what kind of volume does it have access to? Now, it has access to Bittrex, 56 million in USD. Top volume here. Some of the coins are doing like around 4 to 5 million. So if this thing starts taking off, it has access to about 4 to 5 million USD daily volume. Now this is approximately 50%, 45% of the market cap, which is really, really good. Currently we're sitting at 260,000 USD volume. So I think once this thing takes off, if it starts doing really, really well, and it does have access to enough volume to really, really start pushing that price upwards. So I'm going to include the 1.618, which is currently sitting at 85,000. This is a long shot. Obviously, this would require a good bull market, proper all party. But in that case, it's most certainly possible. So we have 3 setups that we can use if you're a short-term trader. Just aim for the first or second target. If this breaks out, just put it in the middle. And our stop is gonna be at this low right here because this would be inside the ascending triangle. If we do break down of the ascending triangle, my reasoning and thus my position is invalid and I have to get out. This will give us a risk reward of 2.13, which is pretty good. But if we include the uppermost targets, which should be achievable, like especially if we get a nice alt party, our risk reward ratio would be 4. That being said, this position is less likely to play out, so choose your cards wisely. Could I check out REQ? Yes, if it's on TradingView I can. Not sure what's the deal here, to be honest. Okay, this seems to be unchartable. I'm not sure what's going on here, so I will skip this and at the end I'll try to find it. Gonna go over to EOS. Big fan of EOS. Made a good 20x in the last like January, December. We did really well, so EOS is definitely something that we want to keep an eye on. Very simple setup. It's forming a symmetric triangle at let's see, at what appears to be like the actual EOS bottom. It has been trading below this range, but only when it was just launched. So I've marked my accumulation zone here, and I am quite confident, obviously if you're confident you stop losses, that we will not re-enter this range again. That being said, this is 100% without denying a symmetric triangle, which has, a good chance of breaking upwards, but like a 50-50 chance of breaking downwards. If we do break down, there's no reason for me to take the trade, so I will not take the trade. If we do break upwards out of this triangle, that would mean that probably we're done accumulating here. And in that case, I would take a position. Oh, let's see if I change it a little bit. Yes, there we are. We might be breaking out at this very moment. good to see. But if we actually break out on the top side of this thing, for me the target would be very, very clear. It would be the 05, given the fact that this big bull run right here has put up a massive resistance at this level, which has always been respected, and thus there's no reason for me to aim at anything else. So if we do break topside, target would be sitting close to 130 satoshis. That's what I'd personally aim for. I wouldn't aim for anything lower. You know, if we break this Fibonacci level, like the 236 level, and we start moving upwards, that's where I'm gonna put my stop. And at that time, by then, if this happens, obviously this is all hypothetical. You know, there's no guarantee that that this is actually going to happen. But if it does, that should give us a great position. So yeah, EOS is looking pretty good as well, and that makes me like really excited because we might, and I'm saying like potentially get a good end year rally here, and this has been due for a long time because we've seen nothing but bearish market sentiment over the past year, you know, and we are almost at the end of the year. So after 11 bad months, I think it would be nice to get one good month. Obviously, we are trading here, we know nothing, and this might not be the case at all. But, you know, the portents are telling me that it might be time here. Which would be a nice Christmas gift, in fact. I'm quite confident in EOS. I'm not taking any position yet, but when I do, I will obviously post this into the Discord for you guys to see. Even though we're not really focusing on calls anymore, I will still try to let you know what I'm doing, basically. So yeah, in short, things are looking pretty good. Um, I'll try it another time. Also, one thing to note, last time I showed you guys the difference between Bitfinex, Bitcoin pair against USD on Bitfinex, and then I distracted the same pair on Bitstamp. And when we do that, this will give us a chart that shows us like the difference between Bitcoin on Bitfinex and Bitcoin on Bitstamp. At one point, things really got out of hand, and we had a $1,000 premium on Bitfinex, but this seems to have settled. Seems that there is a minimal divergence now. It's just 46 bucks, which is normal. So, you know, considering that, everything should be good again. I'm not really worried about Bitfinex anymore, or Tether for that matter. And yeah, that's one more worry out of the way. Tezos. I can certainly check out Tezos for you. Maybe something but a little. I don't think there is a whole lot more history. Okay, we're gonna have to do it on Bitfinex or Kraken. Let me check for a quick second. Okay, I'm actually going to chart this chart against Bitcoin on Bitfinex. And really, even though, you know, you requested it, there's not a whole lot to chart because ever since this launched on the 18th of September, there has been no price action at all. This is just a flat line. There's nothing we can read from this chart other than it will probably continue to flatline until it doesn't. Market cap is 800 million US dollars. Okay, so that is a lot, especially for a coin that has just launched. And on top of that, the volume is just 3 million USD. So this is definitely a no. I wouldn't touch this for the main reason that, you know, what I'm looking for usually is either in micro caps, which have a small market cap and can do huge moves, or like larger caps that I can safely trade, or well, semi-safely, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, blah blah blah. And this just falls in the middle. It falls straight into nowhere with no volume. So even though the project is great right now, I'm not really interested to trade this. Other than that, yeah, me and Corpse have been working vigorously on TradeDeck. It's gonna be one of the best things around there. I'm super excited. And Corpse is actually gonna give a webinar in 3 hours from now. Am I saying that right? 3 hours from now we go live. Yep. So make sure to check that out. It's on my Twitter. It's also on my Discord. So don't forget to go there and make sure to be there because this is some high value content, guys. You don't want to miss this. So yeah, I guess for now it's time for me to grab a quick dinner, and after that, yeah, we will be doing the webinar. We'll be working on TradeDeck, and I will see you guys in the Discord. So thanks for watching, and I wish you happy trading.